Well, let's get today's monologue started with a little bit of positive news. If there's an upside to the coronavirus quarantine and shutdown, hey, now you can't spend $8 for a cup of coffee at Starbucks. Why? Most of them are closed. Well, Dunkin' Donuts and Tim Hortons are still open, or you could just do it the sensible way. Make it at home. I am so sick and tired of listening to Dr. Fauci lie to us. Not only did he write in the New England Medical Journal, which is considered the standard of all medical journals in the world, just a little over 2 weeks ago, he said that it appears that COVID-19, the coronavirus, will kill 0.001%. Wait a minute. What happened to 3%? What happened to 5%? Why is Dr. Fauci not out there stating this in all of the interviews? Because he is just absolutely being fawned over, especially because, he sees the seriousness of this, and he's the one saving us. He's the one protecting us, not that idiot buffoon in the Oval Office, the orange man, Donald Trump. Let me tell you what Dr. Fauci is. He did not create coronavirus, but he has certainly hyped it. He has certainly allowed the fashioning of the message, the branding of how we're going to handle this, how we're going to talk about it. It has been used to shape the media narrative, to drive the media narrative, and he absolutely loves his newfound power. Did you hear what I said? His newfound power. I mean, he actually sees himself as Trump's boss. Have you watched how at times the president will come out and say something, and then a day or two later, he kind of backs off, and people think, the media pressure's getting to him. And in the media pressure, it's Fauci. And I am sure that there are people within the inner Trump circle, and I'm looking at the Trump family like Ivanka, Jared, who are putting pressure on the president. You've got to listen to Dr. Fauci. I consider Dr. Fauci right up there with the same surgeons that told Adolf Hitler the final solution was the Holocaust. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. This man has a political agenda. He knows that coronavirus is not the deadliest virus we have ever faced. SARS, the swine flu, etc., much more lethal. What makes corona this anomaly, which also makes it scary, it really is contagious. You can get it. 50% of the people who will get it will never even know they had it. That is now medically proven. 50% of the people who will get it won't even know they've had it. In fact, some of us have probably had it, gotten over it, never even knew we had it. Most people that get it are asymptomatic. You can get it quickly. Oftentimes, they're now testing corpses and find out the corpse had it. That corpse may not have even known they had it. Fauci, Bill Gates, Mike Pence, they're all part of the same globalist group that for a few years have been warning about a pandemic. And I think they struck gold with corona. Not that they created it or wanted it to happen, but they seized this as an opportunity to test the limits. Test things like quarantine, a soft rollout of martial law, rationing, the limitation of your rights and freedoms. I told you yesterday that in California, they're arresting and ticketing people if they're sitting in their car looking at the ocean, watching the waves roll in while they eat their lunch. They're not to be near the beach, and they're being ticketed for staying even in their own car. I have a daughter who lives in California and says, well, Dad, they're just trying to discourage people from... We have a generation now that is being conditioned to accept martial law, to accept a police state, to be stopped on your way somewhere and to be asked, where are you going? May I see your papers? Young man in my church, on his way to work, works the midnight shift, got pulled over, was asked where he was going, and he politely said, officer, have I violated the law? Did I speed? Did I run a red light? And again, the officer, this time a little more indignant, where are you going? Do you see what's happening? And Dr. Fauci, they understand fully that this so-called pandemic, this is nothing. But to them, this is the perfect opportunity to test the waters, to make sure that the next time there really is the real thing, they can really bring the hammer down. And they've even got the president saying, how high, when they yell jump. But I think the president's had enough. I think he is seeing through this, and he is getting ready to really open up this country again. He said this is going to be the deadliest week or two. We'll see. Already the numbers are way less than any of the projections. The CDC issued guidelines on March the 24th. In these new guidelines under U07.2 for clinical and epidemiological diagnosis of COVID-19, where information may be lacking and test results may be inconclusive or not available, they're still telling hospitals, this is a directive from the CDC on March the 24th, you list the primary cause of death as COVID-19. I told you they were manipulating, juking the numbers. I've been saying this for weeks. You can't trust any of these stats because they're pure fiction. I'm not saying that corona is not real. It is real. People can catch it. 99.9% of the people who get it will not die from it. 80% of the people won't even feel any serious effects beyond the regular flu or just being sick. And so when they say things like, so-and-so died today, notice the careful phrasing. Due to complications related to coronavirus. That person may have had a heart attack, but if they tested positive for corona, that's what gets listed as the cause of death. They could have had cancer for 20 years, but it's going to be corona that gets listed. Could be diabetes. Could have had a stroke. Could have had a lot of things. Could just be old. We're being manipulated. We're being lied to. And that's unbelievable. While we have to sit through these endless conferences, I mean, the governor of Michigan has lost her absolute mind. I'm an hour away from the city of Detroit. It is... You can't even go in the city unless you're wearing like a hazmat suit. And I'm not exaggerating. You got to have goggles on, got to have the full gear on. You have to have gloves on and taped. I mean, this thing looks like a scene out of a movie on Netflix, Contagion, Outbreak, Zombieland. This is unbelievable. Political leaders are doing this because they are testing the limits of how much of your rights and liberties they can withhold. And then, of course, they want to be able to play the blame game against Donald Trump. For weeks, all we have heard, Mayor de Blasio and Governor Cuomo over there in the People's Republic of New York, we don't have enough supplies and Trump's not supplying us fast enough. In 2006, under Michael Bloomberg, City of New York started buying all kinds of ventilators just in case there was ever a pandemic. Gee, you think the deep state's been planning this a while? And Bloomberg is simply part of that inner circle, that elite. But he didn't have the personality to be able to pull off getting the nomination. He choked, burned, and crashed on his very first outing at his first debate. He was done. Toast. Thank you, Elizabeth Warren. But in 2006, Bloomberg started buying all kind of ventilators for the city of New York to be prepared. Gee, under Mayor de Blasio, he didn't see any need to have all these ventilators sitting around taking up valuable space, so he started auctioning them off to other cities, municipalities, and states. ProPublica broke that report today. Will the lying legacy corporate corrupt mainstream media cover it? No. Will the lying legacy corporate corrupt mainstream media cover the fact that the CDC on March the 24th released by directive to hospitals, if you're not quite sure what the person died of and the test results for corona are inconclusive, listed as corona anyway? Just use the phrase complications relating to COVID-19. Still don't think we're being juked? Again, we have certain medical people, they've never had this kind of popularity and power. They see themselves now in powerful position. And as I said earlier, this is now causing Adam Schiff to want to weaponize the intelligence community to actually be able now to set policy regarding health concerns, crises, and epidemics. Do you see what's coming? This is their new weapon of choice to scare us. You know, during the Cold War, it was at any moment Russia was going to nuke us off the planet. Now the new fear tactic, it's not ISIS, it's not... You have the military-industrial complex. They're running out of enemies. They're running out of boogeymen. So now they think they have got the ultimate boogeyman, the thing that you can't actually wrap your hands around and fight. Germs, disease, sickness. These people are vile. And the Democrats, now the mainstream Democrats, the Nancy Botox Pelosi's, the Chuck E. Cheese Schumers, they're corrupt, but not in the same way. They're not trying to use coronavirus to just simply scare people into never leaving their homes again, and to bowing to the medical community. No, they're going to use this to fund utopia.
Do you think that more needs to be done in the next package now that we've seen these appalling, historic unemployment numbers already? Just today.
Yes. I mean, there's a long list of things. The OSHA, family and medical leave more broadly interpreted, free testing. The list goes on and on.
Are you taking into consideration green jobs, green infrastructure?
Yes. We need it big, we need it bold, and we need it futuristic, which means green.
I mean, there's a long list of things. Infrastructure, clean water, community health centers. The list goes on and on.
Well, this is a case for universal health care.
We absolutely have to transform our healthcare system.
Absolutely, we see this as an opportunity to reshape the way we do business and how we govern.
Fully paid sick leave for all our workers, student loan forgiveness, cost-free treatment for the COVID-19, whatever the costs are relating to that.
I mean, there's a long list of things. Internet, broadband, the grid. You have to have mobility. We need money for the postal services.
The national minimum wage should be $15, but that's not nearly enough.
The list goes on and on.
A national effort to enlist doctors, nurses, hospital workers of all kinds.
I think the government should step in.
I believe the federal government should take over contracting and acquiring all the medical supplies that we need.
We got to have telehealth. We got to restructure the way we deliver health care. So yes, Jim Clyburn is a restructuring government guy.
I mean, there's a long list of things.
Rent suspensions, payment suspensions, mortgage suspensions, guaranteed housing, expand our public health care systems, drop the Medicare age to 0. Whatever way we can get this done, let's get it done.
How does bailing out the post office help us in the fight against COVID-19? Why is that got to be included in the stimulus? And of course, we have to understand that post-corona, This country going forward is going to have to be a whole lot healthier, safer, smarter, which means green. And we're going to have to pay from fund for all of this to make it happen. Here it comes. Here it comes. And sadly, we have a generation of people now, they've gotten so scared over coronavirus, the fear and the threat, the lie, the manipulation, that they will say yes to anything that makes the pain go away. It's a dangerous time, but it's a time to be informed, to be vocal about the truth and your knowledge of what's happening. That's it for today's rant. Thank you so much for watching. Give us a thumbs up and a like. Make sure you spread this video to your social media platforms of choice. Make sure you're a subscriber to the channel. Smack the bell to get notification of my rants. And click the word all, or YouTube won't tell you.